Here's a load of my UK and Australian black and white magazines, ones that feature lots of stories that probably have never been reprinted in the US. So they're just great little books, and I'm just going to go through them. Now, I'll probably find a couple more after I've gone through this, but this is my pile I could find at the moment. This one's Uncanny Tales. Now, I'm going to put two together. These are Alan Class ones. Now, one is from the 60s, I assume, because they never put a date, so I have no idea. This one clearly is the 70s, you can see 30 pence, but Alan Class ones, I really love these. These were often in my local newsagents. I'd often go through loads of sort of also summer ones. You'd find them in sort of like middle of nowhere, sort of on the beach or something, and you'd read these great stories. And I never particularly knew much about all the Shield characters, and also Black Hood and those sort of characters. Fly Girl, Fly Man, whatever, the Fly, those sort of characters. But still, they were great. And at this time, the artwork was super crisp. You really had very, very sharp artwork. Actually, to be honest, the artwork that was printed in the 50s looked even sharper than the 60s ones. But now this one is from Alan Class, and they featured often quite a lot of Ditko ones. Quite often you see it, Comic Marts, ones with like Ditko, all the various Kirby, etc. But Ditko, loads of Ditko. Many probably have been reprinted, but maybe not. Maybe in chart. Who knows? I don't know where that comes from without doing a bit of research, but there's that one, J. Codity. Obviously Ditko. Just looks like Ditko artwork. I don't even know why he changed the name, because it was so obvious it was Ditko. But still, Oggo the Thinker. And they're very similar sort of stories, the usual 5, 10 pages, 8 pages, that sort of length. But still, next 5 pages, this one. But still great story. Shadows. Like I say, lots of different stories, but with very little actual detail about, oh, there's the Fly. So you've got the Fly there. But it's hard to date. Hard to date. Also, the artist sometimes you occasionally there's a mistake and you actually see the artist's name. Most of the time you don't. And by the time in the 70s, they became really quite thin. You can really see the difference. How they, even though obviously that's slightly browner, but this one is a lot thinner and poorer quality in general. Sometimes that you could hardly make it. Some of the printing was terrible. Really, this one is very, very rough. The writing is quite hard to read. Obviously, with the Nemesis story there. Didn't even put there. I don't know why. You'd think that space would have been used for an advert or something. Seemed to be not, still. And look at that. That really started to. Now, that probably been reprinted before. That was probably done in the 60s or something. No idea without researching. But quite often some of these plates, I think, were reused and reused to death. And this one, Lincoln, it's quite faded. That, I assume, is an ACG one. That's got that ACG looking sort of writing. But Abraham Lincoln lives again. But it's definitely faded. And then you've got the next page, which is quite sharp, or obviously darker ink. And it did vary. So then you got a very rough page, the next page. Very strange. But that happened in the 70s. Really did go down here. I suppose because of various issues around the world, costs, etc. Because by the 70s, things were changing. And I guess he wanted to keep the price down. Didn't want to go like £1 or whatever to make a really brilliant. And these magazines would have cost a lot more to produce probably in the 70s than probably earlier on. This one's a great one. And this one's clearly, obviously, the American Justice magazine, Guilty. I'm not certain who produced Guilty, but this one's the British edition. It says there, has to put British edition. Now, I don't know why the UK magazines never just put that British edition with the Mighty World of Marvel, all that sort of thing, because we ended up like losing the Spider-Man, Avengers, all those sort of the American editions because of the British ones. But they could just put British edition. At least that would have avoided confusion, maybe, if there was any confusion. I mean, you can tell this is not an American one, even though the American stories, but still very nice and good stories. Very crisp artwork, obviously slightly brown, but it's, unfortunately I can't tell you who the artists are. No idea. I'm certain that people who know all the artists will turn around and say, that's XYZ. I don't know. And unfortunately, that's about it. G39D. Bit of a clue on the code there. There was another one there. G39C. I guess that's the code for this. Guilty would suggest maybe Guilty there. And the mag is 39. That's a big clue as well. So that's obviously the C story for that. Still, no contents or any that sort of thing. This one's a great one. This one's an Australian one. This one's got some lovely artwork, Gene Colan artwork. I assume it's Gene Colan. Again, they didn't include any of the, looks like his artwork, any names, but just really, really great little stories. Probably some DC ones, I guess. Probably one of those Girls' Secrets or one of the magazines, girls' ones. Could have even been Marvel ones. Pretend You Love Me. But it doesn't give any clues. So, but they're still great little stories, and it's just full of 100 pages, which you can't beat. Australian one. I don't know if these were in the UK. Maybe someone could put in the comments below. Maybe they readily turned up. They certainly didn't turn up where I was. So where I live in Maidstone, I'm quite certain I never saw Australian or New Zealand magazines. But it's possible they could come over here. I don't even know if it would include the price. So that's sometimes a big clue. You'd see a little list of little prices, different countries, South Africa or something like that. But Gordon and Gotch, Melbourne. Right. This one's great. I love these ones. Black Hawk, British edition again. And this was a Thorpe and Porter. I think these are great. This is Strato. No, it says Strato, but it's got T&P on there. TP. I'm just guessing on that one. Maybe distribution. But still, issue 36 and 34. And the artwork in these are great. Whenever you see these sort of things, Black Hawk, well, unless you think, oh, Black Hawk, I'm a real fan of Black Hawk, you probably wouldn't buy it, maybe. And yet, you're missing some really good stories in it as well, because there's some stories Black Hawk. Like I say, this is a Strato one. Apparently Upper Brook Street in London, wherever Upper Brook Street is in London. You've got some Black Hawk stories, and they're very, very sharp. I mean, they're really, really printed well. And also, I love that. Though that gives a big clue. Well, maybe that could still be late 50s. They never put any dates on them, so I'm just guessing late 50s. But you've got the Flash there. Obviously, Flash 1956 was Showcase. I don't know when Flash got his magazine, and it doesn't. Actually, the writing doesn't look like Flash's, but it's still at the same time. I guess that was the character that was being included. And you quite often see Flash, Wonder Woman, those sort of ones, but they're often quite expensive in the comic fairs. The Beast That Slept 1,000 Years. And again, oh, Kid Colt Outlaw. Again, 68 pages. Not the world's greatest drawing of Kid Colt Outlaw. You think they could have actually taken one from the comic itself, but the Underworld Sorcerer. Very hard to tell whether that could come from one of the DC House of Secrets or something one. Again, no idea. I'm just speculating on that. Could it be ACG? Because, of course, all the mainly references being Tomahawk, Flash, etc. I'm just guessing that it's probably a DC comic ones. And this one, Menacing Pet from Pluto. You always want to know about the Menacing Pet from Pluto. I don't know if there are any pets on Pluto at all. Still, I love this one as well. Got Mad. So you got Mad. Feeling Insane. Absolutely brilliant. And this is issue, did I see issue 2 somewhere? Saw issue 2 somewhere. Anyway. So classics illustrated on the back. And this is the same. Oh, I think it was in here. This one's issue 2. See number 2 there. So you could get that one. Again, no idea. I've never seen a Mad UK one. Probably around, but I guess they're expensive. Anything that's EC Comics, there's about 3 of these sort of ones in EC. One's Tales from the Crypt or whatever. But also Mad, clearly. But I don't know what was in them. Maybe they were the magazines or maybe they were the comic books. Absolutely no idea. Don't think I've ever even seen them on a wall or anything. But again, Black Hawk stories. But it's not all just Black Hawk. And that's the thing. As I say, when I bought it, I thought, oh, it's going to be all Black Hawk. I'm not a mega Black Hawk fan. I like 1 or 2 stories. But it's nice to actually get the other ones, the science fiction, the fantasy ones. And again, they're not the world's greatest condition. This one, They Called Me a Martian. And also you got the story as well. Again, from this, I said, don't say that. The story mentions Paris. I was going to say Connecticut, because there's Connecticut at the top, Winstead. But anyway, I assume that's from an American magazine. This one's great, Supergirl. I love the way it says Superman Presents. Why? Why did they put Superman Presents? Supergirl comic. Still, it's got some great little stories and all probably 70s ones. And again, this one is from New South Wales, this Sydney. Gordon and Gotch again. I love this. It's got stamps. You always have this stamps one. One Country Collections. Got stamps on the back. Collection of Christmas stamps. But you've got these ones, and they had quite a few. So you've got here Superman album, Superboy, Batman album, Bumper Bat comic, Super Adventure album. Obviously, I've got one of those maybe in here somewhere. or not. Superheroes album, again, Supergirl. Murray Publishers. But it wasn't solely Supergirl, I don't think. Was it solely Supergirl? Yep, all the stories are Supergirl, except, I might be completely wrong. No, there's a Black Orchid story. Though, Black Orchid story, that would suggest this must be, again, they never put any dates. It's so weird. No dates, nothing, no indication about the period. But this Black Orchid at least must date about 73, 74 in terms of the Black Orchid stories. I remember them coming out, Joe Orlando there. So that would suggest that period. Still, another one, Sinister. This is another Alan Class one. This one's a 68 page, obviously one of the older ones. Again, no information, particularly from 67. Again, lots of great little stories in this. Thunder, obviously got a Thunder one. Love those ones, Thunder comics. That's some great stuff. Lightning. So the Web Titans. And another Ditko. Again, you can always tell Ditko straight away. Now, at least this stuff got Steve Ditko there. You've got a little bit of information there. And of course, that must be a Marvel one. So you've got here T887, maybe. The Strangest Tales Ever Told. Maybe it was in Strange Tales. It's always quite often they put that most astonishing, or they put most this, or the suspenseful or something. And you think, oh, so that was in that magazine. This one, Strange Adventure of Archer Prott. So again, you've got stories probably from lots of different sources, all thrown into one. But they were often, these stories are just not properly readily available, not as reprinted as common as probably the standard Marvel ones. I found the perfect hiding place. Again, I'm not certainly. This is Paul Ryman. Oh yes, Paul Ryman. I wouldn't recognise his artwork, I must admit, instantaneously. I'm not very good when it comes to telling the artists. Even though I love artwork, in terms of saying, oh, that is definitely Paul Ryman, I quite often see in forums, you see long people sort of, no, that's Ryman, that's Ditko, that's what's his name. This one's a Wyatt Earp. Now, this is number 32. This is obviously L. Miller. Oh, L. Miller's always quite thin, quite thinnish magazine. Not about the same, yeah, same height. But you've got Wyatt Earp, and I love the westerns, even though they are obviously quite repetitive at the end of the day. The stories, person goes into town, shoots a few people, Wyatt Earp solves it, everyone pats him on the back for solving everything yet again, or whatever. Well done, you've worked fast, etc., etc. End. 8 pages. Wyatt Earp, away to fight. Oh, there'll be a young kid who looks up to the gunfighter and that sort of stuff. You know, the sort of thing. There's a lot of variations on those themes. And lots of, obviously, people who get their comeuppance at the last panel. I'm not going to show the last panel, but you can guess the last panel of quite a few of the westerns. Vale's Violin Valley, no less. This one's Wyatt Earp, and I assume these were all probably late 50s stories. Again, no idea. This one's Nicholas and Trapani, or Trapan, I can't make that out. But the writing, the ink is slightly blurry at that point. This one's Ram. Apparently artwork, but the artwork is still very sharp, reasonably sharp, I think. Very nice. Doesn't it say Wyatt Earp number 32? Oh, that's just saying this issue. I thought maybe it was the issue in America. Might even be the American. Sometimes they did that sort of thing would happen. You'd get number 32, and it would be number 32 properly. Oh, another suspense one. Again, this one doesn't have back page, but it's even got a very, very again a classic Ditko. And also some more, The World Where Man Has Wings. Lots of different stories. And got a ghost. You know what? I never read these. I should have done. I don't think I ever looked at them. I might have done, but I think I always just went for the actual comic book. Rookie Cop in The Suspended Hero. Now, the artwork was still quite sharp. There's a noticeable slight bit of ink in that seems to be a bit worse for wear here. Oh, Captain Atom. Backfire. Obviously, Captain Atom there. Charlton one. Like I say, quite a lot of them have got Ditko. Ditko was really always in these ones. And this one's astonishing, amazing story. This is a bit of a mess, isn't it? Look at that. All brand new, astonishing tales. Then amazing stories of suspense. And that's £1 shilling. It's just getting everything in. This one's Spellbound. Now, it's a bit rusty. It's quite an old one, but again, you can tell obviously it's not that old. It's got Fantastic Four, The Puppet Master. Now, what's that, issue 8? Fantastic Four? Anyway, No, no, that one wasn't. That was from Strange Tales, so it wasn't anywhere near that. Probably, but it was a later one, I think. The artwork got really weird by the end. Then The Clutches of the Puppet Master. Another super adventure of the Fantastic Four. Really? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was Human Torch and The Thing. Not particularly in there. You've got Miller Comics. Price 9 whole pennies and 1 shilling. Water Pistol. Whee! Send away for today. Send for it today, I should say. Famous Atomatic. I would have said automatic, but Atomatic. I've just changed it. But the artwork, I don't think that was the original artwork. I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. Just looks a bit fake. That. Just. But still, the dreaded Puppet Master. I never thought of the Puppet Master as dreaded. He was a useless character, yes. But this one's quite faded. The ink is, look at the ink. The ink is very odd. Not printed particularly brilliantly. And you can see some of them. And it also lose a lot of, look at that, the way the panel, the border's gone. Now, maybe that's in the originals as well. I don't know, without checking the originals. Face in the Darkness. And again, another one that's quite faded. The black is not very black at all. It's skimped out on the black. Age of the Iron Men. I'd say some of these stories are really good, though. Real good stories. Nothing wrong. And I assume they're all from Marvel. Spine-chilling mystery tale. Now that'd give a clue. Probably from Mystery Tales. This one, oh, Unknown World. Probably from Unknown World. Strange enough. Thought Stealer. And this one's got Mystic, an advert for Mystic at the back. And also Mystic and Spellbound. Make sure you don't miss the next issue of... Well, I definitely have missed it. Battle Cry. Now, I love these ones. Streamline. This is a Streamline one. 68 pages. Again, the artwork is very unusual, but still great little stories. But you've got to look slightly beyond the artwork. Very, very rough. I'm not certain if the originals were like this. Maybe they... And I don't know where they came from. It might have been some sort of smaller company, like Toby Press, or one of those sort of obscure ones that, you know, St. John's or something. Face of a Boy. Though that maybe could be ACG. I don't know. Sometimes they are, maybe. Very hard to tell. Brain Power. I mean, like the artwork, this one's quite good, actually. But again, doesn't give the name. So, Brain Power. In schools, in a classroom, prehistoric monsters. I mean, it looks quite... The artwork is very, very unusual. Still, you got some, I'd say, quite rough at places artwork. Look at that. Sometimes it near enough looks like it's probably could be even a British one. So let's not putting British artists down. There were some brilliant British artists. But it's just odd that the artwork looks just odd at times. It looks like if someone's redone it. Like the American comic, and they've just redrawn it and sort of not so well. On this one, you've got a back cover. Now, that looks to me like a cover. But even that doesn't, just looks the way it's been printed, but it's been slightly misprinted. It's just very odd. Still. Oh, another guilty one here. Love these ones. Again, some great little stories in here. Again, this one, top seller. Maybe they're top sellers. Maybe that's what TP stands for, top sellers. Thorpe and Porter. I've seen Thorpe and Porter. It says Thorpe and Porter there. But I thought when this was, and the other one was a Streamline. I don't know, maybe they were all blended into one in some weird way. But Ransom. You got some great stories, probably from all kinds of magazines that you can, obviously American ones you can find, but I think these are, normally you can get these for £3 or £4 at Comic Marts, reasonably cheap, which is good. That's our hope. They remain that sort of price, because they really shouldn't be much more than that. They're really quite tatty, not great, but they're sort of, you know, you don't want to throw them away kind of thing, but they're not really collectible. You know, you're not going to put them into slab or anything. Maybe some people have. Maybe there are slab versions of Alan Glass. Who knows? I've thought about that. Ooh, horrible thought. 6 Gun Heroes. Price 6 old pennies. This one, again, thin. Now, I just suddenly thought I have definitely got a few other ones of these tucked away, because I've got a WoW Comics one that's very similar like this. Actually, it's even worse quality than this. But the inking is still good. There's the ink in there. And again, this one, LaRue. Again, Fawcett, maybe. Someone will probably put in the comments about all the various ones where these come from. LaRue, this one, Rocky Lane. I assume Fawcett, maybe Charlton. Fawcett. I'm guessing Fawcett. Maybe ACG. I might have got it completely wrong. But there's a load of different. The Camel's West. Rod Cameron. Don't know. It doesn't give any details. That's always just a pity. But they're still great little magazines. And well, got 3 or 4 stories. Now this one's an odd one. This is more a British one, but it could be. I don't know. Is the answer. This is very oddly done, and it gives even less clues about anything about it. Jet Fury. So you've got Jet Fury there. Look at the way they've done the panels. Sort of standard, sort of near enough like a newspaper strip. They've sort of separate. You can near enough every day you get a couple of these panels. There's no real break in the story. It's done all the same, all the way through. Very odd, but still. Oh, Jet Fury in Siam. That sort of dates it as well, doesn't it? By Larry Horrock. I must admit, I do not know who Larry Horrock is. Maybe someone knows who Larry Horrock is. Horrock, maybe. The End. And that's Jet Fury Manhunter. Masked Man. Don't miss. Oh, there's some details at the back. But again, no information. Oh, it was distributed in the UK by L. Miller. So that was distributed L. Miller. Again, looks like an L. Miller one, but at the same time, this was actually from Australia. New South Wales. This one's Spellbound, the comic magazine adventure thrill of the century, 68 pages again, Spellbound. This is quite an old one about, I think this is that. Oh no, this is an L. Miller again. Sometimes how they cross over, they look like a sort of Alan Glass, but at the same time, L. Miller. The man who outdistanced death. Again, the stories, who knows where they come from. Mystic. Again, I assume maybe then Atlas Comics. A lot of these stories, it's like the war comic, but they were a mix of everything. A super special GI. What's it? Obviously, great artwork. I mean, really good. I mean, really, really sharp, crisp artwork. You really can't complain about that. And the stories are decent as well, which is always good. Well done. Yeah. Death's Round Trip. Death's Round Trip. Stop. There's been. They always have that story, don't they? When you accidentally get on this, and it's a train or it's a bus that's got everyone sort of. They're all skeletons or something. You're thinking. Maybe I shouldn't be on this bus. Maybe this bus isn't going to where I think it should be going. But they never get off at that point. They just sit on there and, well, I've got my ticket now. I might just stick on here for a bit longer. Bus conductor comes along or something. You can't get off now, sir. And then they look out the window and, of course, they're floating off to wherever. The ferry boat. Doctor. They raid at dawn. That's good. Real good. Again, very, very sharp stories. Very, very... Angel's Luck. I don't know half these ones. So they've probably been reprinted. I don't know in other forms. Oh, this one looks good. Now again, unfortunately, the artist looks very familiar. Revolt of the Fingers. Maybe not the world's greatest title. Of course, it starts with the usual one. When it's at Fingers, it's often either a surgeon or it's going to be a pianist. And it's a pianist in this one. There's always a pianist story. And of course, probably, you won't play again kind of stuff. Play again, play. Oh, hang on, someone's using the line there. No, I can't do it. And, oh, yeah, you can guess what happens with pianos. More stamps. What was it about stamps? Though I must admit, I loved stamp collecting as well when I was younger. I wouldn't say love. It was okay. I always did it because my dad loved stamps more than me. But still. Big 68 pages. Don't take less. And this one I got in my local charity shop. I was quite surprised. There was a pile of them. And weirdly, this one was the cheapest. And it's obviously Black Magic. I think it's Jack Kirby, Simon and Kirby. And it was like about £1 or something, £1. Whereas they had loads of other ones that were really rubbishy ones, relatively. And they were about £8. I couldn't work out the pricing. I don't know why this one was thought of as really cheap and cheerful, and yet probably was the best one. But the other ones were just, yeah, it's falling apart. Maybe that was the reason. Angel of Death. And you got here Dead Ringer. Another story there. Let's have a look, see what else is in it. And it's a mix. It's not just, obviously, just Jack Kirby or anything, but Promised Land. Got another story there. And what's this one? The Nightmare. Oh, that's a pretty gruesome bit of artwork. Unfortunately, doesn't actually give any details about, again, the artist. I mean, certain people know the artist. They always have that, don't they? Always have a skeleton. You just about make that skeleton out there. But it's really, really nice, sharp artwork all the same. Though, that one isn't so nice, the end bit. Still, what else you got? Oh, I love this one. Black Magic got another advert, The Soul of a Man. And also fantasy fiction and science fiction. That lovely one. Galaxy, amazing story, weird tales, fantasy and fantastic and beyond. Oh, another Spellbound one. This one's quite a nice one. This is again another spine chiller one. 61. And, well, whole mix. Zombie. Look out for zombie. I haven't got any zombie ones. I thought I did have one, actually, but I don't seem to have one here. This one again, is this? Oh, it's printed in Italy, this one. L. Miller. How odd. Bishopsgate. Oh, right, L. Miller was in, and it says Hackney, so I assume there's Monsters of the Mine. Again, hard to tell the stories, the period of some of these. Though the art, though I would say that looks, yeah, a Tale to Marvel. I was just going to think that looks like a Marvel one. That's probably was in Marvel Tales. But again, really crisp artwork. Really, really, it's a Christmas story here. I wasn't here last Christmas, Yuletide one, so you've got obviously a Scrooge-like storyline. Your coffin is waiting, sir. Ah. The Undertaker, daughter of an Undertaker. Doom at the Wheel. Pretty gruesome stuff there. Again, probably Atlas Comics, no idea. Ooh, that's not very good. The Bare Facts of Life, Adventure into Terror. Again, an Atlas comic. They always had that sort of style. They'd always put the sort of title of the magazine. That's why some of these probably are not. Tonight I Die. They could have been from other ones. I don't know. But still. And Voodoo. Look out for Voodoo, 68 pages. And this one, Mystic, 1 shilling. But again, no details on dates. It always says copyright, L. Miller. But no date. Adult comic. I love that bit. It's got down there. Adult comic. Very tiny. Adult comic. Secrets of the Unknown. I love that one. That's a bit like a Spider-Man sort of with that sort of banner down there. And it doesn't have any features. Obviously, 13th floor. I wonder why it's always the 13th floor. The Staggering Secrets. 13th floor is a very common one, isn't it? Oh, another Ditko one. Can't beat Ditko. End of the world. Will this be the end of the world? Obviously, an asteroid or something's heading towards the Earth. There's one person that's going to solve it for everyone. And there's only one chance to everyone flee. Everyone packs everything up. Those sort of stories. And then there's a twist at the end. Always is. I'm not going to say twist but they've done so many of those stories. You always know there's a twist at the end. Mike Manley. Secret Agent. Message of Doom. Oh, another Dick, and I love this one. The Mechanical Men. Great look, this guy's selling these little dolls, and of course it's there's more to it than that, as always with Ditko, but great little story. Forever is a long time, another sort of, that must be Don Heck. Looks like Don Heck. Forever is a long time. It's another one, immortality story. Normally involving trees for some reason. It always seems to be tree-ish. I don't know what it is. What's this one? Oh, it's another good old Lightning as well. Great little story. Thunder Agents. So nearly finished all this. Oh, this one, at least just give a date. Very rare. This one's July 1953, War Battles. Shocking tale of God. Very, very nice, crisp artwork as well, which is always good. Don't miss War Battles. Does it give any more information of the publisher? Oh, you can get an editorial. But you don't get any information about details of the... Oh, there's another one here. Get your copy of Anti-Crime Squad, number 10, apparently. Oh, Warfront. Don't miss Comic Libraries, number 11, War. But no information, particularly. Oh, I lie. Australia again. It's an Australian one. Again, I'm not certain if they came to the UK. 8 pennies, maybe. I'm certain. It's possible they were. And this is another one, War Battles, similar sort of thing. War Battles. Again, lots of crisp little artwork there and unusual stories. Probably from Harvey Comics, maybe. Guessing War Battles, Harvey Comics. This one's another one, Battle Comics. Oh, this is another Australian one, Battle Comics. And probably, though I don't think so. Maybe not Harvey. Blow Up, A4. That looks more like a timely comic, sort of Atlas comic one. I'd guess that's an Atlas. Just looks like Atlas comic. Robert Sale. So you've got this one, Cold Steel. Yeah, probably a lot of these war comics have never been reprinted. You've got, of course, that brilliant Atlas of War book, which has got 50 stories, but these magazines include a lot of stories you'd probably be hard to find. And this one, Joe Louis. It's unusual, the artwork. I don't know if this was actual, just a complete reprinting of the comic, Joe Louis, an American one. This one's a Fawcett production, L. Miller #2, 6 old pennies. And this one, can't tell. Weird, it seems to be like French one. Fawcett, obviously Fawcett, etc. 1951 it says. It doesn't actually give a date on the front. But it's got this one, Muscle Head, Puff 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 or something. Puffer Puff Puff. Still. And finally, Kid Colt Outlaw. Of course, Atlas Comics. Oh, that's Joe Maneely. You can tell Joe Maneely got a lovely... There should be a book of Joe Maneely. I'm surprised no one has brought out a book of Joe Maneely. Massive 400-page volume showing all his amazing artwork. I think he was one of the great artists. I love his artwork. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any actual Joe Maneely in this. That was the reason I bought it. I thought, oh, Joe Maneely. Got it home, looked through it. Jack Keller, all good artists. But there's no Jack Keller again. Unfortunately, no one's obviously of Joe Maneely. Nighthawk. Oh, of course, that does have a brilliant bit. Love Gil Kane. You can tell Gil Kane straight away. The Nighthawk. I'm not certain Nighthawk who published that, to be honest. Can't remember. Nighthawk. DC? Rodeo Rick. And also there, Hopi Battletown. And other stories. You Can Have a Mighty Body. So that's the run through of all of my magazines. A whole load of them. Not as many as I would like, I must admit. I do love picking these up. Unfortunately, I haven't been to a comic mart recently because of various reasons, mainly strikes. Very hard to get up to London that way. But it's still, when I next go to one, I'm certain I'll hopefully will pick up some more of these lovely magazines. I think they're just great, really worth checking out. You can find them obviously on eBay, etc. But it's always, I think, nicer when you find them at a comic mart or in a broken down old comic shop or bookshop, and you think, oh, you know what, £1 or something, and you think, that's good. That's great value for a really good, decent load of tales. Anyway, I hope you found this of interest. Bye.